Resident Evil 9 is shaping up to be Capcom's biggest game in the franchise, potentially featuring multiple playable characters and a much larger world than previous titles. Now, a lot of players think that the game is still years away from release, but recent statements from Capcom and some insider knowledge suggest that a trailer and an official release date could be revealed very soon. In recent years, Capcom has been on fire, consistently releasing quality games in short time frames. The last Resident Evil game, RE4 Remake, came out in 2023, bringing back arguably the best entry in the franchise with modern graphics and new mechanics. The last mainline games, Resident Evil 7 and 8, managed to revive the series by returning to its roots of survival horror, blending and terrifying atmosphere with first-person gameplay. However, as we near the end of 2024, there's been very little information about the Resident Evil series. During July's Capcom Next showcase, we saw the announcement of Resident Evil 7 being released for mobile devices, alongside the official confirmation that a new Resident Evil game is in development. While no more specifics were provided, it definitely fueled the anticipation that Resident Evil 9 could come way sooner than expected. Now, according to some industry insiders and leakers, the development on Resident Evil 9 actually began before Village was even completed, meaning the game has potentially been in development for around 7 or 8 years, likely being much further along in the process than many fans thought. Leaks have hinted at a 2025 release date, which would align with Capcom's recent release patterns if we consider how fast they've been putting out titles in the last years. We had RE4 in 2023, RE8 in 2021, RE3 in 2020. You get the pattern. Given the track record, I do not see Capcom slowing down, especially as RE9's development might now be in the final phase, and it is very likely that we will get our hands on the game somewhere next year. Capcom's upcoming release schedule is also a key indicator that Resident Evil 9 could drop next year. So far, Capcom's only officially announced releases for 2025 are Capcom Fighting Collection 2, a bundle of older games, and Monster Hunter Wilds, which is being released at the end of February. This leaves the rest of the year wide open, making a summer or fall release for RE9 very likely. Now, if you ask me, I think they are leaving this gap intentionally, and they are going to schedule Resident Evil 9 to release sometime in the second half of 2025. And if that is the case, they are going to compete with a lot of games, including GTA 6. Before I jump into when we can potentially see a trailer for the game, I wanted to quickly mention what the game is supposed to bring in terms of content. Given the larger budget and a long development time, the game is shaping up to be much bigger than previous titles. Some leaks suggest that fan-favorite characters like Leon and Jill will return, with some others making an appearance as well, similar to Resident Evil 6. The leakers claim that RE9 will close a lot of arcs for different characters, making the multiple playable characters theory quite likely. Now, personally, I would like for Capcom to introduce a new protagonist, as I feel like we have been stuck with the same characters for quite some time. But if the game will really close off a certain chapter in the franchise, then maybe it is worth revisiting the iconic characters for one last time, which then will probably set stage for new protagonists. Resident Evil 9 is also said to be the first game in the series that will not be released on last generation consoles, meaning that we can expect a significant jump in graphics, as the game won't be limited by older hardware. There is also talk that the game will feature open world elements, a major shift from what we've seen in the previous games. Now, I'm not quite sure how they would implement that. I feel like a proper open world like we have for example seen in Skyrim would not really fit the genre of the game, as it is a story-driven title and not an RPG, for example. However, RE Village did have somewhat of an open world with large explorable zones, so if they go in that direction, simply adding more areas or making them bigger, then it definitely will be an interesting approach. So when are we going to see a teaser for Resident Evil 9? We had a lot of gaming events this year like Summer Game Fest, Tokyo Game Show, and even the recent State of Play that many thought will feature the new Resident Evil title. However, there's one more gaming event left this year, the Game Awards, happening in December. It is arguably the biggest event of the year, with a lot of reveals from big gaming companies. Now, Capcom will definitely make an appearance, and likely showcase the final trailer from Monster Hunter Wilds during the show, but I believe the event will end with some sort of teaser for the new Resident Evil title, maybe even with a release date. In the past years, we got a lot of surprises at the Game Awards, so honestly, a reveal of RE9 is very much a possibility, and it's about time we get some proper news about the future of the franchise. But what do you think? Are we gonna see the new Resident Evil trailer at the Game Awards? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.